There is a kind of power that never raises its voice, yet changes every room it enters. It is not found in arguments or clever words. It is found in silence. The silence of someone who knows their worth and carries it without apology. I once believed that respect came from proving yourself, from speaking louder, from winning debates. But with time, I learned the truth. Real respect does not come from noise. It comes from presence. When your actions speak, your silence becomes your greatest weapon. Respect is not lost when others mock you or dismiss you. It is lost when you begin to accept it. Every time you laugh at a joke that belittles you, every time you let someone speak over you without holding your ground, you silently agree to your own dismissal. That is not Stoic strength, that is surrender. Tell you a story. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." Those words still echo centuries later. You do not need to demand respect when you embody it. People feel it. They adjust their tone. They watch their words. They measure their steps. Not because you told them to, but because your presence tells them everything they need to know. There are two forms of silence. One is born of fear. The other is born of strength. The first makes you invisible. The second makes you unforgettable. I remember a manager in a European firm who once told me a story. Let me tell you a story. In her team meetings, one man constantly tried to undermine her authority with sly comments. She could have argued back. She could have explained herself. Instead, she looked at him calmly, held her gaze, and said nothing. That silence spoke louder than any response could. The room shifted. His confidence faded. And after the meeting, others approached her with admiration. One moment of silence earned her more respect than hours of debate. This is how silence works when it comes from strength. It reflects people back to themselves. It forces them to face their own words, their own behavior, without giving them the drama they seek. The truth is, most people are addicted to reaction. They provoke to control. They insult to draw emotion. They thrive when you defend yourself, because it keeps you in their game. But silence ends the game. When you refuse to react, their power collapses. Epictetus said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." If you live by that principle, you never need to justify yourself. Your silence will say it all. But silence does not mean weakness. It is not about walking away from everything. It is about creating invisible boundaries that protect your peace. When someone interrupts you, you do not fight for space with words. You simply wait. And when you finally speak, you do so with clarity. When someone disrespects your time, you do not beg them to change. You withdraw your presence. That absence will teach them more than your anger ever could. I once knew a young entrepreneur who struggled in meetings. People cut him off, ignored his ideas, and spoke over him. He thought the solution was to argue more, to fight for attention. But I told him, stop explaining. Speak once, then stop. Hold your ground in silence. Within a month, the meetings changed. People began to listen. Not because his words became louder, but because his presence became stronger. And here is the lesson. Self-respect is the seed of all outer respect. When you respect yourself deeply, others will feel it without you saying a word. It is in the way you walk into a room, in your calm posture, in your quiet confidence. Your silence becomes a mirror, showing the world what you will and will not allow. Remember this, true strength does not erupt. It endures. It is steady. It is still. It is the flame that does not flicker no matter how strong the wind. So ask yourself, what kind of silence are you living with? The silence of fear that lets people walk over you, or the silence of strength that commands the room without a sound? The choice is always yours. Respect is not demanded. It is not begged for. It is felt. And the one who earns it silently never has to ask for it again. That is the timeless Stoic rule. Let your presence teach people how to treat you. Let your silence speak for you. And let the strength of your calm become your greatest power. In the end, respect that is earned quietly is the only respect that lasts. It does not fade when words are forgotten, because it is rooted in your actions, your standards, and your presence. That is the way of Stoicism, and that is how you build a life where your respect cannot be shaken.